But in the news line, and the financial technologies, which is facing one of its worst crises since inception, with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs now is ordering the merger of its subsidiary NSEL to be merged with financial technologies. Clearly, the FT management is opposing the MCA order in the pretext of protecting shareholders' interest. Vijay Ganeshan Iyer, in an exclusive chat, spoke to MD and CEO of FTIL, Prashant Desai, on the whole issue. Let's listen in.
Rings the death knell for limited liability corporations of India. Over and above that, if you look at the limited liability corporations which are held by shareholders, today for the first time in the history of corporate India, you are seeing that the interest of a trading client on a platform of an exchange has been placed far above the interest of a shareholder.
That the subsidiary was formed and the license was obtained and the businesses were done. Throughout all the AGM reports, you have clearly been saying that how you would focus on various verticals, MCX, MSCI, which is now MSCI, earlier MCX, all were part of the same group. You have been vocal and saying that you want to nurture every vertical and then go for, look at the valuations and go for a listing. So the fact remained that it was because of FT and its backing that all these exchanges were, the markets also gave a thumbs up. We all know how once upon a time FT was a darling of the stock markets. But now, isn't FT morally in that way trying to shrug off from the responsibility when it comes to NSL?
How is the democracy of a country protected? It is protected by the courts of law. So forget whether FTIL likes or does not like. At the end of the day, if somebody has done wrong, my sense is, as a proud Indian citizen, that the courts will decide who is at fault. The courts will decide the adequate punishment for it. So irrespective of what FTIL feels or NSEL feels, the question, Vijay, over here is all these matters are still sub judice. Nowhere it has been proven that it is the liability of NSEL. First of all, you have to understand these trading clients are not the creditors of NSEL.
No action has been taken, which mean you are saying MPID court has failed to deliver anything?
I'm talking about Ministry of Corporate. We are talking about the merger order, right? If you know that 22 defaulters, they have defaulted, assets have been seized, have you merged a single company of the defaulters? That's the broader context. Your question is, when I present FTIL to my shareholders or to the investing public at large, I will talk about all the businesses that FTIL has and all the businesses that it has as a consolidated entity. In the eyes of law, a subsidiary and a parent are two separate legal entities, which is why you have a concept of limited liability. What you are asking in terms of, can the concept of a limited liability be breached? For the first time in the history of corporate India, at a time when a money trail of this entire default crisis has been established to 22 defaulters, assets have been seized, no action against the defaulters. My question is, and all I'm trying to establish through this interview is the fact that these are also the facts. Have a consideration of that.
With the board of members of FT has already spent close to 100 crore plus when it comes to your legal expenses fighting out in the last 2.5 years for NSEL. Many would also argue, just call the people affected in NSEL, maybe just sit across the table, the same money could have been given to them. Is still that an option where you are ready to sit across the table? Because we all know how it comes to the judiciary and the legal fees that you would be incurring. Because at the end of the day, maybe next 2 years this battle continues, FTIL value and the brand is only going to get further eroded. Because the argument also comes in, there is nothing differently that this board has done than what Jignesh Shah, when he controlled the board, has done.
So argument can be argument, and I am not here to defend what somebody else did or what we did. As I said, as a board, as a MD, our responsibility is to create value for our shareholders. But the resolution cannot come at the cost of value of my shareholders.
All right, that of course is an ET Now exclusive where the FT management is talking about the NSEL merger and how they have a stay on that, and of course explaining their books and the logic behind the whole thing. But with that, it's completely out of time on Commodities First. Thank you for watching.